It's absolutely apptacular. The Subject Cinema Android app. Everything you need to be a rabid Subject Cinema fan. Subject Cinema, 3-Minute Weekend, Tuesday Digidex, and Front Row 5 and 10. All right at your fingertips and available instantly. Plus, email and voicemail links, Facebook and Twitter hookups, Patreon support specials, and more is coming real soon. Don't just listen, app it. The all-in-one Subject Cinema podcast app. Android version available now at Google Play or on PNR Network websites. Amazon and iPhone apps coming soon. Don't delay. Download today.
Blueberry. This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
You know, I'm never going to get the glitter out of the keyboard. I hope you're happy.
You said I could do any kind of celebrating I wanted to, so I did.
The glitter all over the you got it in the computer, you got it in the keyboard, you got it in the new PlayStation, you got it everywhere. What the hell?
Yeah, by the way, about that.
About what?
How do you get glitter out of a phone?
It's a new year on Subject Cinema, and on today's show, despite Kim's best efforts to sabotage it,
it was not sabotage.
We are going to go over the year in movies. We have a lot of good stuff coming out, a lot of crap coming out from what we can tell. We're just going to give our opinions and look at it and have fun in this special preview edition for 2018. All right here, right now. I'm T.C. Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
Stick around. We got movies and more
on Subject Cinema for 2018, and I have glitter in my mouse. Oh. This might take a minute.
Stand by to receive our transmission.
This town needs an enema.
Celebrating a decade of film podcasting. Lasting out of Beantown, USA, you're tuned into Subject Cinema with T.C. Kirkham and Kim Brown.
Directive.
Oh, behave. Yeah.
I volunteer as tribute.
Suppose you run your business and let me run mine. Here's looking at you, kid.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome TC and Kim.
So, did you get the glitter out of the mouse?
Yeah, but that Heimlich maneuver was a real bitch. I don't think he's going to talk to me for a while.
I swear. Welcome to Subject Cinema.
Don't. It's rude. Hi.
You'd know.
I would.
Welcome to Subject Cinema. I'm T.C. Kirkham.
Hi, I'm Kim Brown. Happy 2018!
I already said that once. Subject Cinema number 595. Day and date January 7th, 2018.
Woohoo!
Another year. Our 12th? Going on 13th of doing the show. We did have a calendar mess up. We did decide between the two of us to just ditch the Just Cause We Can awards this year because we just could not come up with enough to really make an entertaining show out of it. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to be a week later on our March to 600 shows, but it'll be a lot of fun.
Time got away from us. So
yeah. It's been a great time, and we last saw you on New Year's Eve with the Poppies and Rosies Awards, and we hope that you approved of what you heard there.
Mm-hmm.
My choice, Three Billboards, just won Best Picture at the Australian Film Awards.
Yeah, I know. That's really
exciting.
exciting.
Like, Australian Film Awards? It's not an Australian film.
Well,
I thought that was interesting.
I don't know what that means, but, you know.
I dropped my pen. Anyway, this show is all about the future.
Ah! Oh, not that future. Phew.
And then it happened. I died.
You know, maybe we should have a moratorium on bashing on Miranda July. We did that.
I didn't bash on Miranda July. I didn't say a word about Miranda July. All I said was the future, and then did pom pom.
Yeah, I know.
Papa.
Yeah, we've been kind of bashing on that movie for quite a long time,
because it deserves it.
Well,
anyway,
yeah.
We're going to spend this whole show just talking about 2018 and the year in film. There's already 200 plus films scheduled. Now, we are not going to touch on too many of the films that are hitting the film festival circuit right now, unless they're already scheduled, because we have our annual film festival show coming up in 3 weeks, our 12th or 13th annual, I forget which, Festival of Film Festivals, which will cover Sundance, Slamdance, Santa Barbara, Palm Springs, Big Sky, Victoria, all the usual suspects. And we'll be talking the festival films at that time. Right now, we've got our list from Wikipedia and a few other sources of different films. We've also made up a personal list of films we want to see this year. And we definitely would like to know what films in 2018 that you're looking forward to. So take the time. You can drop us a line at Subject Cinema at PNRNetworks.com, or you can use our speak pipe. It's toll free. You can record up to 5 minutes. And if somebody doesn't use this thing this month, I'm ditching it, because it costs $14 a month and nobody's using it. So if you're not going to use it, I ain't going to pay for it. So if you want to be heard on the show, want to actually be a part of the show, that's the way to go. But otherwise, write us a letter and we'll read it on the air and let everybody else know what you're looking forward to. And then Subject Cinema at PNRNetworks.com.
Yep.
Month by month, you think?
I think that'd be the best way to do things.
Already open in theaters around the country this past Friday. Insidious, The Last Key. I've never been interested in these. I'm not a horror film fan anyway.
No, you're not.
So, I know you like good horror films, but I'm not really a fan of them. So, but you have stayed away from these. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The trailers freak me out. And I know that sometimes the trailer shows the scariest part of a movie lately. That is a trend that needs to stop, by the way. But, you know.
I was actually looking forward to seeing The Strange Ones. It's a very limited release right now. A thriller starring Alex Pettyfer, James Frieden Jackson, Emily Alpheus, Gene Jones, and the brother team of Owen and Tobias Campbell. We are both huge Owen Campbell fans. And although we didn't see As You Are or what was the other one? Super Dark Times yet, although that's now on Netflix. We'll get a chance to see it. But Strange One is this kind of a mystery horror film, and again, I don't do horror, but it sounded intriguing, and it's kind of a murder mystery inside of a wrapped inside of an enigma, inside of a question.
Wrapped inside of a taco.
Is there burritos around? Anyway,
also coming out on the 5th is Stratton, directed by Simon West, starring Dominic Cooper, Austin Stowell, Gemma Chan, Thomas Kretschmann, Tom Felton, and Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah.
I can never say his name right. It's a spy espionage kind of
Yeah, it's Dominic Cooper,
thing.
and he's not normally action oriented,
not really,
but
no.
Interesting stuff. Now, this coming week has got a few things we're interested in and a few things we're not interested in. Sorry, I swallowed wrong.
January 10th has Sweet Country coming out with Brian Brown and Sam Neill. The 12th has quite a few films coming out, one of which I'm interested in, and that's about it on that.
Yeah, we are both interested in Proud Mary.
Proud Mary, starring Taraji P. Henson, I should say, from Empire, as Mary, who is a hit woman who works for an organized crime family in Boston, and her relationship that happens when she accidentally orphans a young boy, and she winds up, becoming this kid's guardian. It's going to be cool for us because it is set in Boston, so we're going to be able to go, hey, I know where that is.
So was R.I.P.D., and that wasn't cool for us at all.
No, I know.
Even though we sat through it.
I know.
But I am looking forward to that one. One film I'm just not feeling is The Commuter. It's Liam Neeson on a train.
It's taken on a train.
Pretty
much.
Liam Neeson, Vera Farmiga, Sam Neill, Elizabeth McGovern, Jonathan Banks, and Patrick Wilson.
Also on the 12th coming out out Freak Show, and this is all subject to change, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
Freak Show, Humor Me, and Vazante are also coming out on the 12th. The 18th is Mary and the Witch's Flower, which is an anime, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
The story of a girl...
Actually did win a Best Animated Film from one of the critics groups.
Yeah. A young girl that winds up picking a flower that has magical powers, and that never ends well for anybody, usually. The 19th has 12 Strong and Den of Thieves debuting on that date. And the 20th...
You were way more interested in Den of Thieves than I was.
I was, but I'm also kind of like not in a great big rush to see it.
Yeah, I know.
The 26th has the next... installment in the Maze Runner series. Is this the last one?
Yes.
Okay. Maze Runner, The
Thank
Death
goodness.
Cure. Well, yeah. Maze Runner, The Death Cure. Forever My Girl is coming out on that date, and also The Insult.
I don't have a problem with Maze Runner. I've not seen any of them, and I like a lot of the stars. Dylan O'Brien's cool. Thomas Brody Sangster is a Rising Star alum. Kayla Scolario is great. Scolario. I always get it backwards. I love her in practically everything too, but that whole thing just didn't do anything for me from the very beginning. So it's like, okay. So that's January.
Yep.
Isn't January exciting? Ooh, boy.
Well, considering the fact that it's 20 degrees below nothing out, nobody really wants to go out and run to the theater anyway, so,
February 2nd brings Winchester, The House That Ghosts Built.
I want to see this movie wicked, wicked bad.
Why?
Because I have always been fascinated by the story of the Winchester house.
Is this something known? Okay.
Yes, this is the Winchester house in California.
Okay.
The story of the Winchester house is the story of Sarah Winchester, whose husband, who had many tragedies in her life, including the loss of her husband William and their child, and she became convinced, I believe, by a medium, that her family, which was the family that created the famous Winchester rifles, that her family was cursed by the spirits of all the people that the guns killed. So in order to confuse the spirits, she began to build this enormous house in San Jose, California, and kept adding onto the house and adding onto the house throughout her life.
Yeah, but how much of this is actually going to tell the real story? It's a horror film.
It is a horror film. It's also a horror film with Helen freaking Mirren in it, so,
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Helen's done crap before.
Well, I know, but I really
See Red 2.
I really am fascinated. But we liked Red 2 until the last
Red 2 was
act,
okay. It wasn't as good as the first one, yeah.
But the whole Winchester house story has always fascinated me, and no, that's not just because I'm a Supernatural fan. All you wise,
you've always been
wise
interested.
Asses out there.
You've always been interested in no pun intended on the show, supernatural type shows.
Yeah.
But you don't often actually go see films with them, so.
Well, I'm interested in this one because this whole story, like I mentioned, the Winchester house has fascinated me my whole life because it's a real thing. You can actually go to this house. Mm-hmm. And, it's completely... I know a lot of people out there who are more of the rational nature would be like, this woman was just nuts and deranged and people were capitalizing on it. But... there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, as the bard said. So I'm interested in it myself.
There are two more films coming out on the 2nd. A Fantastic Woman from Sony Pictures Classics and Armed with Mario Van Peebles and William Fichtner. Going to be probably some kind of an action film. February 9th is the first big release day of the year. There are 7 major releases. And probably, other limited releases, which, by the way, I want to plug it right here. This is not a complete list. As we've said, cards subject to change, and your best bet is to get all information on each week's stuff by checking out 3 Minute Weekend on Friday, because I have a list of all the limited stuff and everything else coming out. My first must-see film of the year is that day. It's the 1517 to Paris, directed by Clint Eastwood, telling the true story of the train in Paris, the attempted shootings that were thwarted by 3 Americans, Anthony Sadler, Alex Galartos, and Spencer Stone, who are playing themselves in this film. Alec won us over big time when he was on Dancing with the Stars a couple years ago.
Yep.
And so did his friends. And Eastwood is an excellent director.
Yeah.
And always makes entertaining films.
So the critics are probably going to savage the hell out of it.
Well, I don't know that. No, the critics loved American Sniper.
Well, yeah, I know.
So
okay.
There you go.
Also coming out on the 9th is 50 Shades Freed, which is acting. Bravo.
Well, I think it deserves that.
Which is the next and final, thank goodness, in the 50 Shades trilogy of Twilight fan fiction. Anyway, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Oops. 50 Shades Freed is starring, of course, Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan
as Bella and Edward without that name.
If I get in trouble for it, you get in trouble for it.
I know, that's why I'm being equal here.
And the less said about that, the better.
Yeah.
Also, coming out...
Can you tell we're just so interested in those?
Oh, yeah. Also coming out on the 9th is Peter Rabbit, which is...
First major animated film of the year, and I'm not feeling it. I know it's going to be a big hit, but I'm not feeling it. I'm sorry.
not feeling it either, simply because I don't like the interpretation of the character.
I've never been terribly fond of the story. So this is, it's got a great cast. James Corden, Margot Robbie, Rose Byrne, Daisy Ridley, Elizabeth Debicki, and Domhnall Gleeson. But I'm just like, no, I'm just not feeling it. I'm sorry.
I'm not feeling it simply because we saw the trailer, and Peter in this trailer
Peter's a teenager. He's a smart-ass teenager.
He comes off as a brat.
Well, yeah,
and
same thing.
The Beatrix Potter stories, they were always so much more gentle, and I
But
thought
Peter was a brat.
He was mischievous.
He was a brat, honey. Honestly. Also coming out on the 9th, La Boda di Valentina, from Lionsgate, a romantic comedy, I would assume from the title, either Spain or Italy.
Yeah.
Permission,
Monster Family, which is an animated feature, and Golden Exits.
Are you feeling Monster Family?
To be honest, no.
Okay.
Even with Jason Isaacs as Dracula, I'm still not feeling it.
It again has a great cast: Emily Watson, Jason Isaacs, Nick Frost, Jessica Brown Fenley, Celia Emery, and Catherine Tate. But
I'm not feeling it.
It sounded amusing, but not so amusing to draw me to the theater. It's more the kind I might watch when it shows up on HBO or something. Golden Exits, I don't even want to go there with that.
February 16th, however,
is another big day because there's a lot of good stuff coming out.
Yes, there is.
There's a couple of things that I've never heard of coming out that day too, but I don't know.
February 16th is bringing to the screen Black Panther from Marvel Studios, and oh my gosh, I cannot wait for this movie. This is going to be awesome.
Is anyone else getting really tired of the Marvel Universe? I'm looking forward to Black Panther. The trailer is incredible. But after Civil War and Thor Ragnarok, I'm burnt out. I didn't like either one of those films, and I'm like, okay, I don't know.
Well,
we'll have to wait and see.
I am so looking forward to Black Panther because I am completely enamored with Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa.
Oh, he's fantastic.
AKA Black Panther.
He is he is exactly the embodiment of this character.
Yeah.
From the
comics. It's going to be really interesting to see Michael B. Jordan as Eric Stevens, who goes by the bad guy moniker Killmonger. I don't know if I've ever seen him play a bad guy, so that should be interesting.
No, he's always played the upbeat roles or normal roles like those in Chronicle or Fruitvale Station.
Also coming out on the 16th is another film that we're both very interested in because we love the studio and I love everybody in the cast.
It's the latest from Aardman Entertainment, Early Man. Directed by Nick Park, of course, and featuring the voices of Eddie Redmayne, Tom Hiddleston, Maisie Williams, and Timothy Spall. The trailers have been fall down hilarious, and they have such a great track record. I can't think of a single Aardman film that I haven't enjoyed, with the possible exception of Shaun the Sheep. I liked it, but I didn't love it.
It wasn't as fall down funny as we thought it was.
I was never that big a fan of the cartoon series, the animated series.
My thing is, there's two things that are really going to get me to Early Man. I adore Eddie Redmayne. I just adore him to bits. And the fact that Tom Hiddleston is playing the main villain, because we love Tom Hiddleston.
Tom is so good at villains. I hope he doesn't get typecast, though.
He's so good at villains, and this is the kind of a part where you can gleefully chew up as much scenery as you want, and Tom has shown he's excellent at that, and I mean that in the nicest possible way, Tom. Call me.
Oh, he knows it. He knows he's a scenery chewer.
Call me. You're
He's
fabulous.
an expert at it, particularly when he's at it side by side with his brother pal Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
There's one or two scenes in Thor that cracked me up, and it was the two of them together. They really have a great chemistry. The rest of the movie I didn't care for.
The 16th also brings the release of Loveless, The Party, which I actually am interested in. I've seen a trailer for it online, even though it's a film from 2017.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing this.
Nostalgia, Samson, which is...
Samson scares me.
Yeah, Samson, which is just what you think it is. It's the story of Samson from the Bible.
But look at this. I don't know. I'm not sure who Taylor James is.
I don't know.
But second build is Jackson Rathbone, who is best known for his role as... Which Cullen is he? Jasper.
Yeah, Jasper.
And... Billy Zane, and then Rutger Hauer and Lindsay Wagner.
Yeah.
Where's a name I haven't seen in a while?
Yeah. So the story
it's a small independent film.
The biblical tale of Samson and Delilah. And now we get to the 23rd, and a film. There's several films coming out on the 23rd.
There's two that I'm really interested in. So
yeah. One of them that we're both not interested in,
despite the fact that it has good word of mouth from early critics,
is Game Night. Game Night is the story of a bunch of friends that get together to play games, and it winds up becoming a real-life murder mystery, but it takes them a while to tweak onto that fact.
Yeah, it's a Jason Bateman comedy. That's all you need to know.
Not going there.
Pretty much. Jason Bateman, Rachel McAdams, Jeffrey Wright, Jesse Plemons, and Kyle Chandler.
Yeah, I have to be honest, I was kind of like, I'm not sure until I saw the actual trailer for Annihilation, and I went... Okay, we're going to this.
You and Stacy both had decent reactions to this. This looks good. I have to admit.
Annihilation, directed and written by Alex Garland, is a science fiction horror film, I guess would be accurate.
Yeah, I think so.
A group of soldiers that go into an environmental disaster area, and something goes terribly wrong, and only one comes back alive, although he's very badly hurt. Trying to save his life, his wife, who is a biologist, goes in with a bunch of other scientists back into this zone to find out what's going on. The visuals from this is what had me going, holy crap, I want to see this movie.
Yeah, Alex has gotten great awards and nominations for his writing, but really stepped up the game with Ex Machina, which was one of the most critically acclaimed films of 2015, and now this is his follow-up, and it'll be interesting to see.
On the same day is also Every Day, which I didn't know anything about until we started doing research for the movies coming out this year, and I just read the premise and I was like, I want to see this. Every Day is the story of a young woman named Rhiannon who falls in love with a spirit called A, who wakes up every morning in a different body, leading a different life. I don't know why this sounds so
interesting. It's Quantum Leap, the movie.
It sounds so beautiful, and at the same time, it sounds so sad. I have a feeling this is going to be a major chick flick, and I also have a feeling bring tissues.
I'm not a huge fan of comedies, always. Sometimes they really have to jump out at me. But
You're not a fan of slapstick.
I am looking forward to the War with Grandpa, which is comedy. Yeah. Did you see the cast?
I did see the cast.
Robert De Niro as Ed, the grandfather who gets moved into his children's home and ends up forcing his grandson Peter out of his room, launching a war with his grandson, played by the marvelous Oakes Fagley, who I adore. It's also got Christopher Walken, Uma Thurman, Jane Seymour, Cheech Marin, and Colin Ford.
Yep.
This movie is going to be great. I hope.
Sweetheart, I'm not trying to be rude, and I love Robert De Niro. He's an amazing actor. I'm also saying that because I'm scared of him. But
you can't be scared of him after he did that thing with Stallone.
I mean,
the man was doing Dancing with the Stars by the end of the movie. For
he
Pete's
also
sake.
did Boris and Natasha. So he's at a point in his career.
My point is, Oaks is on a roll.
I know.
After Pete's Dragon and Wonderstruck, which we never did get to see, and he was our #1 rising star in 2016. He is an amazing young actor, and I cannot wait to see what he's going to do. If I have to go by myself, I will.
No,
the other two movies.
It's also coming out on the 23rd are Hannah and the Lodgers. Those are two separate films, by the way. Sorry. I don't know anything
I was just
about...
saying Hannah. It must have a different
Hannah
title on what you're looking at.
The Lodger.
Yeah.
Hannah, the Lodgers.
From Parade Deck Films, and The Lodgers from Epic Picture Group. Okay, that brings us up to March, and March is... There's a lot of good, interesting stuff coming out in March.
Well, March is your birthday month.
March is my birthday month. Shop early, shop often.
Ah.
One of the things coming out on March 2nd is, I think, the most talked about film of the early spring so far. It is the thriller Red Sparrow, starring Jennifer Lawrence in basically the Black Widow story.
Pretty much.
But I tell you, I'd never seen Jennifer kick ass, and she apparently does quite a bit of it in this movie.
Red Sparrow looks really amazing, but I am sitting there going, Black Widow?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Why is nobody else getting this?
It also stars Joel Edgerton, who we love, Matthias Schoenaerts, Charlotte Rampling, Mary Louise Parker, and Jeremy Irons. And it's a spy movie. She plays a Russian spy who falls for a CIA officer. And it's gotten really early great word, so we'll have to wait and see how it is.
But for some reason, Black Widow doesn't have a solo movie.
No.
Could you please explain this to me, other than the fact that the universe is not fair?
The other big film that weekend is Death Wish, a remake of the... I guess it's a remake, is it not? Of the...
It's a remake, yeah, of the Charles Bronson film from the 70s.
With Bruce Willis?
Yep.
Ugh. Okay, Bruce Willis, I know you're interested because Vincent D'Onofrio's in it. So.
I'm not interested in it, no.
Oh, usually you want to go see anything Vincent's in.
I love Vincent, but
I do too, he's a great actor.
To be perfectly honest, this is not the time we need a movie about more damn guns.
No, it's not, actually.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like some, hippie.
But that's right. There's also... some other smaller things coming out that weekend, including Pickings.
Yes, which is a neo-crime thriller that looks interesting.
Foxtrot, a drama from Sony Pictures Classic, and Gnome Alone. Oh my God, really? Gnome Alone. That's the first of 2 Gnome movies coming out this year. An animated
Don't
film.
ask us why, but...
Now, March 9th, here we go. This is a big day because there are 5 or 6 really good films I'm interested in coming out. But, what is your take on A Wrinkle in Time? We have neither one been feeling it from this film.
Nope.
There's a slight buzz online, but nowhere near what I thought it would be. I know 2 or 3 people who adore that book. Yep. I've never been able to get into it. And Ava DuVernay, who just walked away with tons of stuff for her movie Selma a couple years ago, and also did a really revered Netflix documentary last year.
Yeah.
Is helming this, and the cast is incredible. But is it gonna work?
I don't know. A Wrinkle in Time, which is based on the 1962 novel by Madeleine L'Engle, which is considered a science fiction classic.
And also considered one of those books that are considered to be unfilmable.
Yeah.
But so is The Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
So. I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen several trailers for it.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, this film's got a lot of incredible people in it, including Oprah Winfrey, Reese Witherspoon, Michael Pena, Chris Pine. I tried. I mean, I was like, oh, this looks interesting, and then I saw the whole trailer, and I waited for that little spark inside me to kick up, and I'm like, okay, spark, whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Are you in the bathroom? Where are you?
I've never been able to get into the book, and I think that has a lot to do. I've tried several times, and there's a lot to do with why it's not sparking.
It's like me and the V.C. Andrews books. I've tried to read My Sweet Audrina at least 3 times, and I could never get into it. Mm-hmm. This is the same thing. I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll do well. I hope it does well. But I have a feeling a lot of people might wind up being disappointed, especially big fans of the book.
Yep. So what is your opinion on Gringo? We saw the trailer for that the other day.
Oh, this movie is... I would feel very badly for anybody that works for the Mexican Tourism Board.
Okay,
once this movie comes out.
I gotta be honest. It has a great pedigree. Written by Nash Edgerton, who is Joel Edgerton's brother. Joel is one of the stars, along with David Oyelowo, Amanda Seyfried, Charlize Theron, Tandy Newton, Charlito Copley, and not listed on this cast list, but my reason for interest, Michael Angarano. I'm like, okay, I'm in. The trailer was awesome, and I don't know what little part Michael has, but I'll go to see it. I'll go see my actors I like in tiny little parts if they're... Although I haven't watched any of his TV shows. But it's like, okay.
I was going to say, considering the fact that we sat through, the heck was the name of that movie? With Gina Carano.
Haywire. We love Haywire. And he had a good part in that.
Yeah, but it's not like he was the big dashing hero, right?
No, he wasn't.
He's the one that got saved,
But, David Oyelowo, I have never seen him do comedy. This is going to be interesting.
It's a dark comedy.
It is a dark comedy, but the trailer's hilarious.
Like smack into the furniture.
I thought the trailer was hysterical.
Like I said, if I worked for the Mexican Tourism Board, this movie would not make me happy.
Also out this week is Thoroughbreds. This is the
9th. He means the 9th.
The 9th, sorry. Well, I said this week. I was talking about this week, the 9th.
Sorry.
Also out that week, Thoroughbreds, the final film for Anton Yelchin. All the other stuff has come out finally. Mm-hmm. This is getting really good word of mouth since its trailer hit back in October. It's a comedy horror thriller where he plays a drug dealer who agrees to help these two of his clients to off somebody.
Yeah, I believe it's one of their stepfathers.
Yeah. Olivia Cook, Anya Taylor-Joy, Anton, Paul Sparks, and Francie Swift. It has gotten really good word of mouth.
I've seen the trailer. It looks good.
And I'm a huge and always will be a huge Anton fan, and I'm so sorry that we lost him so young, and it's like
so
amazing.
Unfair.
Another one that's come to our attention, we didn't really know this much about it, even though it's gotten a Golden Globe nomination already, is The Leisure Seeker, or The Leisure Seeker. Mm-hmm. This is a movie that's aiming straight for the crowd that made the Grand Budapest... No. Best Exotic Marigold Hotel a hit.
Yeah.
With Helen Mirren and Donald Sutherland as a married couple taking one last trip in their RV called The Leisure Seeker. And his character is suffering, if I'm not mistaken, from the onset of dementia.
Yeah. We watched the trailer.
The trailer tore us apart, and yet it's hilariously funny.
This is one of these movies, never mind bringing a box of tissues, just bring a roll of Scott towels. Because it's just going to, you'd have to be a Vulcan to not tear up at this movie.
This probably won't get a wide release. It is a Sony Pictures classic, so you'll probably have to look around for it. But just the trailer makes me say we're going to go find it that week. I want to see that film. It looks really good. And I love Donald Sutherland, Helen Mirren anyway. Sutherland hasn't had a role where he's been able to play a sympathetic character in a long time.
No.
He kind of got stuck playing the heavies after playing President Snow in the Hunger Games
series. Which he was so amazing.
He was great. I love him anyway in practically everything. But again, going back to Anton, his chemistry with Anton Yelchin in Fierce People was amazing. Mm-hmm. And I loved that role for him. And I wish he'd do more like that. And this seems to be like that. So.
February 9th, March 9th, I should say. March 9th also we'll see the opening of The Upside at the theaters, along with The Hurricane Heist.
Pass. Sorry.
Yeah, which I was I saw this film. I saw the synopsis for this film, and I figured since certain people in this room who are not me that are total disaster junkies.
But it isn't really it's just there's a disaster happening around it, and I don't know. It does have at least one or two good people in it, but I'm like, it's a team of heist people that decide to make this huge heist during a hurricane, and the 2 or 3 people that are still in town that try to stop them. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might, if it comes on demand, I might spend the bucks and see it. We'll see.
And the next film along the same lines of The Strangers, a film called The Strangers Pray at Night, another movie that will just make you distrust your fellow man and want to lock yourself in the bathroom for, the rest of your life. That's fantastic. We really need stuff like that nowadays. The 16th of March...
things are really kicking in. March has got... Ever since the success of the Hunger Games and 300 in March, March has become a hotbed of releases, and now everybody's throwing them out and hoping they'll be a hit. And eventually, they might get the message that when they do it that way, only 2 or 3 movies will be big.
Right.
March 16th is killer because they have the new version of Tomb Raider, which a lot of people are looking forward to. I'm not one of them. As much as
Even though rising star Alicia Vikander
I love Alicia Vikander, but I'm not interested. I've never cared for that character, and I just don't.
You don't play the video games,
Yeah.
so it's not. I Can Only Imagine, which is a faith-based film, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
Love, Simon.
Love, Simon has my interest because the cast is stupendous, and it is getting word of mouth because of its subject matter. It's the story of a gay teenager who is trying to figure out how to tell his family and friends that he's gay. Nick Robinson is playing Simon in this. Nick was on our Rising Stars list a couple years back. He is an amazing young actor. Joining him, several alumni from that list, including Alexandria Shipp, Miles Heiser, Logan Miller, also starring Catherine Langford, Jorge Lindenborg Jr., Kenyon Lonsdale, Jennifer Garner, Josh Duhamel, and Tony Hale.
Yep.
And it's already getting great word of mouth. It's directed by We're Not Worthy, oh God, he's King of the World, Greg Berlanti, who is, of course, in charge of the entire DC universe on the CW network. So, we'll see.
Torn from the pages of history, 7 Days in Entebbe tells the story of a very real, very terrifying event. The 1976 hijacking of Air France Flight 139, which was en route from Tel Aviv to Paris via Athens, and they wind up having to do a forced landing in Entebbe because of these terrorists that hijacked the plane. And the whole thing of it was that they wanted Israel to release PLO members, and it's, this was something that was, this held the world's attention for the whole time that it happened back in 76. I have to be really honest, I don't really remember this.
No, you were too young.
I mean, I was...
They've already done a TV movie or 15 about it anyway. What They Had, new film from Bleecker Street Productions with Hilary Swank, Michael Shannon, Robert Forster, Thaisa Farmiga, and Blythe Danner. An untitled horror film from A24. I don't know what that means.
No, I don't either.
And Flower from the small independent group The Orchid. The latest from director Max Winkler, who has done some good stuff over the years with Zoe Deutsch, Catherine Hahn, Tim Heidecker, Joey Morgan, and Adam Scott.
March 23rd brings another sequel in Pacific Rim Uprising. This is obviously a sequel to Pacific Rim,
which wasn't a hit. Now that's interesting.
It wasn't a total bomb.
It wasn't a box office hit in the States. It did huge overseas. But we're gonna have to watch the original one because I want to see this simply because John Boyega is the star of it. I love John. He's a great young actor. And also, it's got Rinko Kikuchi and Scott Eastwood in it, and they're both great, too. So.
Yeah. Well, we didn't see the first one, basically, because from the second I saw the first preview of it, I started shrieking how this was just a live-action version of Neon Genesis Evangelion, and,
You don't accuse Guillermo del Toro of plagiarism.
I'm not accusing him of plagiarism. I would never accuse Guillermo del Toro of plagiarism. I'm just saying it's basically the same idea, just switching out kaiju for what are referred to as angels in Evangelion, but the whole idea of the mecha that the pilot's fused with and all that. I mean, it's been done over and over and over again.
And if they did it in Pacific the first time, shouldn't they be doing Atlantic Rim this time? Isle of Dogs, I'm actually looking forward to.
I am too.
This is the new animated film from Wes Anderson, who hasn't done one since the Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah. Isle of Dogs.
The cast is stupendous.
Yeah, Isle of Dogs tells the story of a future Japan where dogs have been quarantined because of something called the canine flu. And a young boy makes his way to this island in order to find his dog who's been sent there. I saw the trailer for it, and I thought it looked really, really it looked intelligent. It looked funny. It looked sweet.
It's Wes Anderson, who has started to slowly branch out into...
and started growing the both of us, really.
Well, no. I don't like any of his earlier stuff, but I love the Grand Budapest Hotel. And I'm like, it's not us. He started to slide a little toward more mainstream. And I think that's what happened with Budapest. I think that's what's happening here. Voice cast includes Bryan Cranston, Bill Murray, there's a shock, Jeff Goldblum, Scarlett Johansson, F. Murray Abraham, Tilda Swinton, Harvey Keitel, Courtney B. Vance, Greta Gerwig, Frances McDormand, Bob Balaban, Liev Schreiber, Edward Norton, and Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
Yoko Ono?
Sit there and tick off how many of those people have been in other Wes Anderson movies.
Edward Norton's done at least 6 of them.
Edward Norton, Tilda Swinton, F. Murray Abraham, Bill Murray.
Oh, yeah, Tilda's been in most of them, too.
Jeff Goldblum. So, it's kind of redonkulous, but, lots of famous directors have these actors they go to over and over again. So, why not Wes?
The interesting thing is, though, for the first time in I don't know how long, 2 major animated films are coming out opposite each other. This hasn't happened for a few years. In addition to Isle of Dogs, we're also getting Sherlock Gnomes on March 23rd.
Shoot me.
James McAvoy, Emily Blunt, Johnny Depp, Mary J. Blige, and Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sherlock Gnomes is a sequel to Romeo and Juliet that everyone was clamoring...
Loose sequel.
Everyone was clamoring for. Oh, no, wait, they weren't. I'm sorry. In the immortal words of Zorak from Space Ghost Coast to Coast, somebody, please kill me. Oh.
Nods off to Martin Croker, who did the voice.
March 23rd also brings Unsane to the
I get it. That's it's a whole parody thing. Well, Steven Soderbergh directed.
Yeah.
And he also directed Logan Lucky. So there we go.
I know. But it's got some incredible people in it. It's got Claire Foy, one of our rising stars. Juno Temple, one of our rising... Wasn't Claire Foy on our list?
I don't know.
Well, Juno Temple definitely was.
Yes, Juno has been.
And she's definitely there. Unsane is the story of a young woman who has been committed to a mental institution where she is forced to come face to face with her darkest fear, whatever that means.
No, Claire Foy is not part of her.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Final Portrait, which is directed by Stanley Tucci and written by Stanley Tucci, is the story of a painter named Alberto Giacometti, and I hope I was even close to that, who runs into a man named James Lord, who was a friend of his, and asks him to model a portrait for him. And it turns into, let's sit for a portrait. That should take a few days. And somehow days turns into weeks. And it's just this kind of play off between the two men. Jeffrey Rush as Alberto, which just gets me there because it's Jeffrey Rush because he's amazing. The cast also includes Armie Hammer, Clemence Posey, Tony Shalhoub, James Faulkner, and Sylvie Tesaude. I'm really interested in this. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. I think it just sounds amazing to me.
Yeah, there's a teen romance coming out on that day also for the Twilight crowd called Midnight Sun with Bella Thorne and Patrick Schwarzenegger. That's all. On March 28th.
Pass. Yeah.
We shouldn't. Bella was our number 1 rising star a few years ago. She was awesome. On the 28th, another faith-based film, because it is Easter time, Paul, Apostle of Christ, starring James Faulkner, Jim Caviezel, Oliver Martinez, Joanne Whalley, who used to be Joanne Whalley Kilmer, and John Lynch. Yeah. I'm not familiar with this, but it's obviously...
No, it's obviously telling the story of the Apostle Paul. Ready Player One comes out...
We're on March 30th.
Ready Player One also is another faith-based film coming out. But first we'll get that in a minute. Ready Player One comes out on March 30th.
I'm going by myself.
Directed by Steven Spielberg. It's another dystopian future. Everything sucks. We're all slaves to virtual reality.
But
movie.
Look at the cast. Ty Sheridan, Olivia Cook, Ben Mendelsohn, Mark Rylance, Simon Pegg. And T.J. Miller.
We've seen this over and
I don't
over
care.
again.
Ty Sheridan could stand there and read the phone book, and I'd go watch it. I love Ty. He's awesome. He was our number one rising star a few years ago again, and he's terrific. I will definitely. I mean, the number of stuff that's being talked about in this film, this has got really great word of mouth coming all over the place. So, I mean, it's a pop culture thing about kids who get away from their horrible life in Columbus, Ohio. Another reason I want to go see it. By escaping into the virtual gaming world. And it just sounds awesome. Mary Magdalene, another faith-based film, hits that day, as you said, with Rooney Mara in the title role, which I think is really odd casting.
No, I think it's odder casting having Joaquin Phoenix play Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Chiwetel Ejiofor again,
weird.
and Tahar Rahim. I don't know. I wouldn't be adverse to seeing it. I like Rooney Mara. She's great. But
I love Rooney, too. She's amazing. The story of
and we were
Mary
surprised at how good
Magdalene
Risen
is,
was a couple years ago.
Yeah,
so.
we did really both enjoy Risen.
Yeah.
And the story of Mary Magdalene is an interesting, fascinating story to look at. I'm just, like I said, the idea of Joaquin Phoenix as Jesus Christ,
It's an odd casting choice, yes.
The 30th also brings to the screen Tyler Perry's Acrimony, which is another movie.
It's a Tyler Perry movie.
Yes, but it's different than, it's obviously not like a Medea-type comedy. It's a thriller.
I know.
It's dealing with infidelity.
But he also did that thriller a few years ago that just got terrible reviews. The one based on the books, I can't remember his name.
He played Alex Cross.
Alex Cross, thank you, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lean on Pete is finally seeing the light of day. This has been shoved back 3 times now. About a boy and his horse. It was one of the most critically acclaimed films at the festivals over the last 18 months. Was expected to be a major Oscar contender this year, but until they pushed it back. It tells the story of a young boy played by Charlie Plummer and the horse he saves from a terrible life of being after they're going to send it off to the knacker's yard, and runs away with it instead. Also co-stars Chloe Sevigny, Travis Fimmel, Steve Buscemi. I'm interested. It has a small part for Thomas Mann in it, and it's supposed to be one of the best feel-good sports dramas ever made. We'll have to see. And then in the other faith-based film, again around Easter time, God's Not Dead, A Light in Darkness. We have not had enough of these, apparently. This is the 3rd or 4th one of these, with David A.R. White, John Corbett, Shane Harper, Benjamin Oyongo, Ted McGinley, Jennifer Taylor, Tatum O'Neal, Swayze, I don't know who that is, and Cissy Houston.
Those kind of films, honestly, I think they do more to hurt Christianity than help.
They do very well with the Christian community.
I know they do very well, but I mean, they make all Christian people look like they're all wonderful, blameless people, and atheists are just complete horrible a-holes.
Well, they're not necessarily looking at atheists here.
Well,
I mean, for all its craziness and all it is reviled by all the critics I can think of, people forget that Kirk Cameron's Fireproof was the #1 movie of the weekend when it came out, and it was a faith-based, really fundamentalist faith-based, because that's what Kirk is, film. So,
yeah.
All right, let's move on to April. April 6th.
April 6th of one movie.
Again, a lot of stuff coming out.
Yeah, April 6th has one movie coming out that the both of us looked at each other in the theater when we saw the trailer for this and both went, no.
We did?
We did. Blockers.
That's that thing with John Cena, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Blockers is a comedy.
This will probably be a big hit, too.
I know. A comedy, Dr. Evil quotes, about a bunch of parents who find out that their daughters all plan to lose their virginity on prom night, and they're determined to keep that from happening.
With Leslie Mann, Ike Barinholtz, John Cena, Catherine Newton, Graham Phillips, June Diane Raphael, Hannibal Buress, and Sarayu Blue. No. Pass. A Quiet Place from director-writer John Krasinski, who got raves for his debut a couple years ago. co-wrote the screenplay with Scott Beck and Brian Woods. It's a horror thriller.
Yeah, this sounds really scary, like too scary, like I can't deal with it scary.
Oh, he does. He's gotten. I mean, his movie, the dysfunctional family movie, a couple years ago. I can't remember the name of it. Got raves. I like John as an actor.
Yeah,
and I mean, here he's starring with Emily Blunt, Noah Jupe, and Millicent Simmons.
Yeah, it's the story of a family that's on a farm. And they're trying to hide from this malevolent force that's attracted by sound. So they have to communicate in sign language and try and make as little noise as possible. So this is going to be one of these movies that eats at your nerves until you're like, screaming at the screen or something like that. I don't need that kind of aggravation. Thank you. I have a delicate constitution.
There's Show Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, Show Dogs, which is I don't know. Do we really want to go there?
I thought it sounded funny myself.
It's a comedy about talking animals, and those always annoy me with actors and voices. Will Arnett, Natasha Lyonne, Ludacris, Stanley Tucci, Shaquille O'Neal, Gabriel Iglesias, Alan Cummings, Oliver Tomsett, and Andy Beckwith. It's about a police Rottweiler, who's lonely police Rottweiler, who's ordered to go undercover as a print show dog to a prestigious dog show to prevent a calamity.
I'll tell you why I want this to do well, and this is on a completely personal, from my heart level. Rottweilers are beautiful dogs that have a terrible...
They are, yeah. We both knew some of them that were great. So.
Yeah, Rottweilers are beautiful dogs that have a terrible reputation, and if this film shows them in a positive, heroic light, then that's a good thing.
Xena Puppy was awesome.
Xena Puppy was an awesome dog.
But Will Arnett as the main lead, that scares me right there. I don't know. I love the Westminster Dog Show. This is not going to cater to that crowd. Also out, Amazon Pictures brings You Were Never Really Here from director Lynn Ramsey. This was one of the most talked about festival films of last year with Joaquin Phoenix, Ekaterina Samantsov, Alex Manette, John Domain, and Judith Roberts. It is a thriller.
Finally on that date is it was supposed to be, as we said, card subject to change, is the film Chappaquiddick. Chappaquiddick details...
what you think it would detail.
It does, yeah. It is dealing with...
And notice they waited until Ted passed away to make this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 1969, Senator Edward Kennedy from Massachusetts was involved in one car accident where his car was wound up in the water. He had a passenger with him, a young woman that was not his wife, a campaign strategist named Mary Jo Kopechne. Mr. Kennedy made it out of the water. Miss Kopechne did not. A lot of people...
This is purporting to tell the true story.
A lot of people point at this incident as to why Edward Kennedy never ran for president.
He ran for president.
Well, I'm saying ran multiple times or anything like that.
With Jason Clarke in his scary turn as Edward Kennedy.
It is really unnerving how much he looks like Teddy Kennedy. Because I watched the trailer for this, and I know some people...
I want to see it. I think it sounds
I think some people who know us and know where we live and know where I grew up might be a little bit like, wow, you watched that? I'm surprised. Because,
I was.
Well, I'm trying to be an objective film observer, like you're always telling me to
also
be.
starring Kate Mara, Ed Helms, Bruce Stern, Jim Gaffigan, and Taylor Nichols. Distributed by Byron Allen's Entertainment Studios. They paid quite a bit of money for it at Toronto, and it's going to be interesting to see how well it does. But I mean, Clark looks like him. It's scary.
It is scary.
They did a good job with that makeup.
It's also, I think that's kind of odd casting, but whatever. Of Clancy Brown as Robert McNamara. I'm like, okay.
All right. April 13th, and what could possibly be the final misstep in the Fox Marvel properties.
Or it might actually turn out to be really cool.
No, I don't see how this is going to work, and I think they're making a mistake, but I might be wrong. New Mutants is being treated as a horror film This is the latest X-Men spinoff, starring Anya Taylor-Joy, Maisie Williams, Charlie Heaton, Henry Zaga, Blue Hunt, and Alice Braga. They're all locked in an asylum of some sort, and it's...
they're all young people.
But they have acknowledged it is taking place in the current X-Men universe. The X-Men universe that features James McAvoy as Professor X and Michael Fassbender as
Well, it can't be the current universe then, because wouldn't that be Patrick Stewart?
No, the current universe they're making is the McAvoy stuff. That's the old stuff, the first 3 movies.
Oh, I'm getting a friggin' headache. I don't know. But they're bringing in the... The thing is, I'm really interested because one of the characters that's going to be part of this film, Anya Taylor-Joy, is playing Ilyana Rasputin, who is a mutant known as Magic. In the comics, yes, Comic Geek coming out deal. Ilyana is the sister of Peter Rasputin, a.k.a. the mutant Colossus.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're going there in this, but that should be interesting.
The writer from... Writer Chloe Zhao was one of the most beloved films at the festival circuit last year. It got quite a bit of buzz at Cloturtis last year, too. And it's a Sony Pictures Classic release here. Yes. Beirut from Bleecker Street. I assume that's a war film.
It's a film set in the 1980s, set in Beirut. A former U.S. diplomat returns to service. This is straight from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
To save a colleague from the group responsible for the death of his family.
Yet another attempt to make John Hamm a movie star.
The cast includes John Hamm, Rosamund Pike, Dean Norris, Shea Wiggum, Larry Pine, Mark Pellegrino, Idir Chandler, and Ben Affan.
Haven't we learned that John Hamm hasn't been able to make the transition yet? As a lead, he can do supporting, but I don't know. Miracle Season, another enlightening, uplifting sports drama starring Helen Hunt, William Hurt, Danica Yorosh, and Erin Moriarty, and Sergeant Stubby, an American hero, with the voices of Logan Lerman, Helena Bonham Carter, and Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah.
Coming out that day also. Let's just talk about that. This is one of those sun casting things, isn't it?
Well, I don't know if
it's I think this is a French animated film. So
I don't know. It's a French Canadian United States co-production.
Right.
Sergeant Stubby, an American Hero, is a film that is looking at Sergeant Stubby, who was a Boston Terrier who became a hero in France, and that is actually based on a real dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but animated films based on real things are not always really good.
No, they're not, but sometimes they are. Every once in a while.
Wednesday, April 18th, brings the latest, of course, April 18th being Earth Day, brings the latest Disney nature film to theaters. This year, it's Dolphins, narrated by Owen Wilson. These always do respectable business with families. Kids love these, and Disney nature. Every year we say we're going to go, and every year we never get there. And when we watch them finally on TV, it's like, damn, why didn't we go?
Yeah.
Because we never see them until after it's too late to give them awards.
Yeah.
So.
Also, the fact that you get irritated because I sit there and coo through the entire movie.
Or bawl.
Or bawl through the entire movie. Or sit there and go, oh, I want one. And he's like, no, Kim, you can't have an orangutan.
Yeah.
I know you can't have a wild animal as a pet because
now,
that's not
once
cool.
again, all right, I'm going to bring this up first because I just think it's an absolutely ridiculous idea. April 20th, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 films coming out. The doofiest one is probably Overboard. It is a gender-flipped remake of the Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn movie from the 1990s with Anna Faris, Eugenio Derbez, Eva Longoria, John Hanna, Josh Segarra, and Mel Rodriguez. Now, is this going to be a hit again?
I don't know. Actually, it's from 87.
Oh, 87? Oh,
yeah.
Was it that old?
Yep.
Oh, my God. I didn't realize it was that far back.
For those of you who don't remember Overboard from
30 years ago.
Yeah, for those of you who don't remember the 1987 version of Overboard, it's the story
I don't see how you could avoid it. It's been on on streaming channels and stuff.
It was the story of a spoiled heiress who winds up getting amnesia and is convinced by one of her people that work for her that she is his wife, and he winds up taking her to live with him and her and his wild children, and wackiness ensues because it's
nowadays that would be considered sexual harassment.
No, it would probably be considered kidnapping. Yeah. Because taking advantage of a person with a brain injury is fun.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
So, this is a gender flip version where a spoiled playboy from a wealthy Mexican family winds up falling off his yacht. He then meets a single working class mom who convinces them that they are married.
Did they go there with anything else stereotypical with the Mexicans? Like, is he money from drugs, or is he actually a businessman that's successful?
It doesn't say. It just says
because if they went with a drug lord, I'm going to be so pissed.
No,
that's
I don't know. I actually don't know. It just says that he's from a wealthy Mexican family. Let's hope that it's
an actual business family would be nice.
Yeah, that would be good.
There's a number of films I want to see on this date that I don't think you want to see any of them. So let me run through them real quick. Okay. There's Rampage. Which reteams director Brad Payton and star Dwayne Johnson, who worked together in San Andreas a couple years ago.
Yeah, I want to see this.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think you'd want to see this. It's about, the subject matter.
Destruction, mayhem, and collateral damage, and big animals. I totally want to see this.
Also starring Naomi Harris, Malin Ackerman, Joe Manganiello. Sorry, Joe, I can never say your name. Joe Manganiello. I don't know why I can't say that name.
There's no T in there. Why do you always do that?
Manganiello? How do you say it then?
Manganiello.
All right, fine. Mm-hmm. Jake Lacey, show off. Marley Sheldon and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Oh, that's why you want to go see it.
Ta-da!
He's the bad guy,
I know.
All right, I forgot about that.
But he's so good at it. Jeffrey, call me.
I loved, despite the fact that it's not a great film, San Andreas was loads of fun.
I have to admit, I don't like disaster movies, but I actually liked that.
San Andreas?
Yeah.
Well, San Andreas was fun because it had great characters. You had a great chemistry from Dwayne and Carla Gugino, who are terrific together.
They really did.
That's like their second. I know they did Reach Witch Mountain together.
And it was fun watching Ewan Gruffadd getting squished.
Ewan Gruffadd gets squished.
Sorry, Owen.
Alexandria Daddario and Art Parkinson, and I've forgotten the older British guy. Mm-hmm. I love Art Parkinson. I think he's going to be a major star one of these days. After he gets, now that he's done with Game of Thrones, he'll have time to do more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, but anyway. The new one is about.
It's based on a video game.
But what is it? It's what affects the animals that they do.
It's some kind of a rock from outer space that causes animals to grow larger and more aggressive.
And it's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Yeah, I like him. And Naomi Harris.
And Malin Ackerman.
Yeah. Also on April 20th, if it doesn't get bumped again. Because it's now been bumped 4 times.
So that would be again.
Yeah. God Particle, the third movie in the Cloverfield franchise, starring Daniel Bruhl, Elizabeth Debicki, Axel Henny.
Yeah, that's why I'd go
Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Chris O'Dowd, John Ortiz, David Oyelowo, and Zhang Ziyi.
And that's why you want to go see it.
No, I want to go see it because it's part of the Cloverfield universe. At least it's allegedly to be part of the Cloverfield universe.
You didn't see 10 Cloverfield Lane?
No, but I don't care. But this movie, which is a problem on a space station, and like 10 Cloverfield Lane, it's probably just loosely connected, like maybe the Tagarudo company made the satellite, or maybe they have a slow show machine on board, but it's like, connected to that. But it's been bumped 3 times now, and most of it has not been because it's considered a bad film. It's because they keep having problems finishing the special effects work. So let's hope they got it right. Tully from Jason Reitman, reteaming him with Diablo Cody. They, of course, did Juno together. Charlize Theron, Mackenzie Davis, Mark Duplass, and Ron Livingston.
The folks from Broken Lizard are back with Super Troopers 2. You can tell how excited we are. All right, I think they get it. More wackiness from people with guns. That's fantastic.
I want to see Duck Duck Goose. You're not happy with this. I saw the trailer. I was on the floor. It's an animated
I'll
film.
probably wind up seeing the trailer and getting charmed. I don't know.
It's an animated film about a gander that ends up taking in 2 lost little ducklings and trying to get them home.
All right, that's cute.
From Open Road Films with Jim Gaffigan, Zendaya, Lance Lamb, Greg Proops, Natasha Leggero, Stephen Fry, Craig Ferguson, and Carl Reiner, all providing voices. The trailer is hysterical, and I'm like, I just like want to see this. It sounds funny. And finally, The House of Tomorrow from Shout Studios. This one is, I don't know what this is. And there's no way to get to the info.
Yeah. So moving on.
No. It's talked about. I've seen buzz about it. It's
Okay.
Asa Butterfield, Nick Offerman, Ellen Burstyn, Alex Wolff, and Maud Apatow. I don't know what relation to Judd she is, but I'm assuming she is. A drama, and Shout Studios, this is the first theatrical release for Shout Factory, so it should be interesting to see what they're doing with it.
The end of April brings us a horror movie about a subject that I don't think anybody ever thought you could make a horror movie about. Truth or Dare.
Oh, why not? Are you kidding? That's a perfect fodder for a horror movie. You know?
I'm sorry.
I dare you to go out into the woods with an axe.
No, it's not that kind of a thing.
Oh.
The whole point of Truth or Dare is a bunch of college students playing the game Truth or Dare, which most of you have probably played at some point in your lives. But the thing is, stuff starts happening to them, and they start... people start getting killed, people who didn't do the dare they were supposed to do, or lied when they were supposed to be telling the truth, or something like that. Okay.
Moving on.
Coming up in a few years...
Actually, from the 27th, there really isn't anything much coming up.
No, Traffic, Disobedience, Godard, Mon Amour, and Selfie Dad.
Traffic, not to be confused with the Steven Soderbergh film.
No.
It is a urban thriller with Omar Epps, Paula Patton, Missy Pyle, William Fichtner. What is he doing in an urban movie? And it's Traffik.
Yep.
Isn't that cute? Selfie Dad is probably going to do well for comedy people. It's a faith-based comedy, so we'll see what happens.
I don't know what Godard Mon Amour is, other than I'm assuming it's a love letter to Jean-Luc Godard.
It's a documentary about Godard, from Cohen. It's actually gotten another festival. Now, we've gone through the first 4 months of the year, and it's only taken us an hour to get there. Now we're into summer officially, even though it's only May. The summer blockbuster season begins now. It used to begin in summer, like around the middle of June.
Or Memorial Day.
Then they moved it to Memorial Day. Let me get through my spiel.
Sorry.
Then they moved it through to Memorial Day. And over the last few months, it's actually been moved into April a little bit, but that bombed, so they moved it back to May 4th this year. Avengers Infinity War.
Sorry. I'm very, 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 very excited about this movie.
You know why I'm worried about this movie?
Why are you worried?
I love the Avengers films, except for the last couple. I actually liked Guardians better than Thor, which is scary.
You mean Volume 2?
Volume 2, yeah. And I didn't care for Civil War that much. This worries me because there's too many players in the scorecard. If you get too many people, there are 9 or 10 heroes in this one. More if you count Guardians, who have a little bit of a thing here. And it's a cross-studio thing, because they brought in Spider-Man back from Sony for a minute. I hope it's not a case of everybody gets 2 minutes on screen and Robert Downey Jr. gets, like an hour.
Boy, you really have a hate-on for Tony Stark now.
No, I don't. I just don't think that Tony should be the center of attention.
I don't think he is.
In all these stories. And I thought that was one of the things wrong with Ultron. He was too much the center of the story.
Well, my big problem with Ultron was that's not how it was in the comics. But,
No.
I'm sorry, I'm turning into space.
And they killed off Quicksilver. So,
Boy, you're gonna flog that horse till the end of time.
It's Aaron Taylor Johnson. I love him. He's awesome.
I know.
So needless to say, everybody that's ever done an Avengers film ever is here. Except poor Clark Gregg.
Except Quicksilver.
Who is still like stuck in TV universe. Are they ever going to tell the Avengers that Coulson is still alive?
No, I know, and I want a big, serious hug scene between
Honestly.
Steve and Coulson. I want that. Also coming out in May is Animal Crackers.
Oh, you're not going to talk more about that?
No,
Okay.
no, we got to keep going. We've got,
All right.
You know,
we know what it is anyway. It's the Avengers saving the world from Thanos.
Yeah.
Part 1.
Yep. This movie, I've been hearing about this movie for years. I am not kidding. The first time I heard about this film was, I think, back in 2011 or 2012 or so. And I've been hearing about it, and it was like, it's coming out, it's not coming out, it's been pushed back, it's been da-da-da-da-da-da.
Which movie are you talking about?
Animal Crackers.
All right, so what's so great about it?
I don't know that there's anything great about it. It makes me nervous that it's a cartoon and it's been that, dragged all over the place. It's the story of a family who run a circus. They wind up inheriting a circus and a mysterious box of animal crackers. You heard that right. Which changes the person that eats the animal cracker into the animal that they've eaten.
Ooh! That gives all new meaning to the term animal crackers in my soup.
Gives a whole new meaning to the term eat me, too. The voice cast includes John Krasinski. I always mess up his name.
Krasinski.
Emily Blunt, Lydia Rose Taylor, Ian McKellen, Danny DeVito, Sylvester Stallone, Raven Simone, Patrick Warburton, Wallace Shawn, Gilbert Gottfried. Stop that. Harvey Fierstein, Tara Strong, James Arnold Taylor, and Kevin Griveau. Like I said, I have been hearing about this movie for years, and the fact that it's finally coming out, I'm like, okay, why am I having Underdogs flashbacks? Wasn't that the name of that movie, the foosball movie? Yeah, I'm having major Underdogs flashbacks with this. Also coming out finally coming out on May 4th is The Guardians, from Music Box Films. It is a French drama, that I don't know anything about.
No.
So,
May 11th, 3 films are coming out. There's the latest from Richard Linklater called Where'd You Go, Bernadette, with Kate Blanchett, Billy Crudup, Kristen Wiig, and other main stars. Another film called Life of the Party, Melissa McCarthy comedy with Melissa, Maya Rudolph, Molly Gordon, Julie Bowen, Gillian Jacobs, Debbie Ryan, Matt Walsh, and Jackie Weaver. And Action Point. Is that the name? Yeah. Action Point. Mm-hmm. We've been waiting for this one because we know what it's based on.
Yes.
From watching a few things on YouTube. And all 3 of these films are comedies.
Action Point.
Comedies. So,
Action Point, to be honest with you, I think it was originally going to be called Action Park.
It's based on Action Park, which is this notoriously dangerous amusement park in New Jersey.
Yeah. I have a feeling this movie's going to do better on the East Coast than on the West Coast.
Well, Johnny Knoxville's the star, so that helps. He's got a following.
A lot of people on the East Coast have probably been to this place, or more accurately, have
survived this place. And it's open again.
Yeah.
Action Park was notorious in the 80s or 90s for the rides and water park stuff that people would end up getting seriously injured on. Mm-hmm. Like little trains that go down hills and
a water slide that must be seen to be believed.
You can look up some of the stuff with an Action Point on YouTube. There's several theme park groups that have got stuff up, and it's like, oh my god!
Yeah, we watched one of the commercial. Was it the commercial, or was it an actual just filming from somebody inside the park? I forget which. But that water slide, oh my gosh, that thing is a thing of nightmares. I was like,
it was both. They were doing a documentary, but they had some of the commercial footage on it too.
Who on God's green earth thought that water slide would not kill somebody? I have no clue at all.
Uh-huh.
May 18th is bringing a film to the big screen that I think is a bad idea. Yeah. I think it's a bad idea. May 18th is the debut from Screen Gems of Slender Man.
They've separated it. It's actually Slender Man rather than all one word.
Slender,
but it is based on that.
Slender Man is based on the creepypasta about a fictional figure. Can we stress that, please?
Fictional.
Yeah. Because unfortunately, 2 young women took the whole Slender Man thing.
They were 12 or 14. That's not
young girls. 2 young girls took it way too far and almost murdered a classmate.
No, they did kill a classmate.
They didn't kill her. She almost died.
Oh, okay.
They said she was an inch away from being stabbed through a major artery.
Okay.
And trying to appease this figure. The father of the young woman has come out as being very critical about the fact that this film was even made, and to be perfectly frank, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
So moving on from there. The 25th of May brings...
I'll let you talk about this for a moment, if you will.
Yeah. You go get a drink of water.
Yeah.
Solo, a Star Wars story, or Solo, as it might also wind up just being called, I'm not really sure, is... And anybody who remembers who Napoleon Solo is, congratulations, you're either old or saw the same movie we did, in which case you're part of a very exclusive club. Solo, a Star Wars story, is looking at Han Solo from the point of view of when he was a younger man. Han is being played in this film by Alden Ehrenreich. Ehrenreich. I do that all the time.
I do too.
I'm sorry, Alden. I don't know why I do that. Woody Harrelson is playing Beckett, who is a criminal and also Han's mentor. Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. Okay. The cast also includes Jonas Suotamo. I'm sorry, I don't even know if I'm close. As Chewbacca. Paul Bettany, Thandie Newton, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Emilia Clarke.
You told me the other day you weren't sure you're feeling this.
Yeah. And I realized that a bunch of Warsies just gasped, clutched their hearts, and keeled over.
No, I don't think so. A lot of Warsies are a little worried about this because Chris Miller and Phil Lord, who were originally signed to direct, were fired halfway through the filming. Ron Howard replaced them, and I don't know whether or not this is going to be a big film or not. My big thing about Solo is I wish they'd gone younger, and I wish they'd done... I have no problem with Alden. I think he's a great actor. He's a Rising Star alum, and he's really good in Hail Caesar and whatever we've seen him in. But I'm not so sure about Han Solo.
No.
I would have preferred Ansel Elgort or even Leo Howard if they wanted to go younger. And I wish they had, but we'll see what happens.
I have to be honest, and this is just being from my heart, as a Warzy, is the fact that the whole prequel thing makes me nervous because of the prequels. And also...
Well, think of it this way, though. Rogue One prequel still held up well.
Yes, it did.
And they'll probably... I mean, this is the Star Wars universe. That's why Phil and Chris were fired. They weren't queuing to Star Wars canon.
Right. And there's also the simple fact that in the present... This sounds really weird. In the present Star Wars universe, Han is gone.
Oh, that's so depressing.
Thank you, Kylo Ren, you emo whiny bitch.
No, thank you, Harrison Ford, who didn't want to have to play the character again. Anyway, that's coming out.
All right, so June is busting out all over.
And boy, is it ever.
And speaking of busting...
We're going to talk now about Wet on Wet.
Excuse me? We don't go to those kind of movies in this house.
We don't? With Rob Boss and his painting? Deadpool 2 is out January 2nd. No, June 2nd.
Well,
right?
I don't go to those kind of movies.
No, I don't either. And that's not what I'm talking about.
I know.
And you know it.
He's talking
June
about,
1st, sorry.
He's talking about the Deadpool 2 trailer, which if you have not seen online by now, go check it out right now.
It's a Bob Ross parody, and it's an absolute scream.
It is hysterical.
Ryan Reynolds is perfect in that.
Ryan Reynolds is back as the merc with a mouth, Wade Wilson, cheerfully blowing up the fourth wall for more adventures with Deadpool and assorted folks.
Although they have run into a problem now because Josh Brolin plays Cable in this film. He's also playing Thanos in the Marvel universe, and now 20th Century Fox and Marvel are both owned by Disney. So there's going to be an interesting dichotomy developing there.
Well, the thing that really has me going, what the F are you going to do now, is the fact that... for one thing, Ryan will be able to say the F word, I can't, is the fact that Nathan Summers, a.k.a. Cable, as played by the aforementioned Josh Brolin, Nathan is the son of Scott Summers and Jean Grey.
In a different timeline.
Who has been sent into the future, and this is why I hate time travel stuff. And how are you not going to explain his parentage? That's so important to who Cable is.
Well, they can't explain his parentage. X-Men is part of the Deadpool universe.
Yeah, but all of that,
It'll be interesting. On June 8th, there is the female remake of Ocean's 8, starring Sandra Bullock, Cate Blanchett, Helena Bonham Carter, Anne Hathaway, Rihanna, Sarah Paulson, Mindy Kaling, and Aquafina. And that's obviously a joke of some sort. I don't know.
Aquafina, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, that's
I don't know if it's a it's more of a sequel, really, because Sandra's playing...
Oh, she's a rapper. Okay, I can't believe Coke or Pepsi, whichever owns Aquafina, hasn't sued her. No, but it's pronounced the same. Oh. Anyway.
It's more of a sequel, really, since Sandra's playing Debbie Ocean, who is Danny Ocean's sister.
Yeah.
So it's kind of more of a sequel, I guess.
But Ghostbusters with the female cast didn't work last year, so I'm wondering if this will. Also out that day, from Focus Features, you're going to have to look for it, but you need to. It's gotten raves at the festivals it's played at. Won't You Be My Neighbor? Documentary portrait and study of Fred Rogers and his philosophies and how they apply to general life. And I think that's going to be monstrous.
Yeah.
Because we both love both of the other documentaries about Fred, and it's terrific.
And the fact that if there was ever any time we needed a gentle, kind presence like Mr. Rogers in the world, oh man, is it now.
Yeah.
On the 15th of June is TAG. So, yeah. It's a cross-country... The incredible thriller of what happens when you take off that little tag off a mattress. No, that's not what it's about.
It's a comedy about a group of ex-classmates that is a game of tag played like the Cannonball Run. With Ed Helms, Jeremy Renner, Hannibal Buress, Jake Johnson, Annabelle Wallace, John Hamm, Isla Fisher, Rashida Jones, and Leslie Bibb. Jeremy Renner's in it.
I know Jeremy Renner's in it.
He broke both of his shoulders doing it, didn't he? Or broke both something doing it.
I don't know.
That's what he broke before. We didn't do it on the Avengers.
I don't know. For some reason, and God help me, this sounds so dumb. It sounds actually like something I'd be interested in. I hated playing tag when I was a kid. I sucked. I was one of the worst tag players in our neighborhood. So, there's that.
Pixar's huge Incredibles 2 will be out that day. Repeating, Brad Bird directing and wrote the screenplay with Holly Hunter, Craig D. Nelson, Sarah Val, Huck Milner, Samuel L. Jackson,
we
Bob
haven't seen the
Odenkirk,
first one. We really need to.
And Catherine Keener. We did.
No,
Didn't we?
haven't. No.
Oh.
I haven't.
I didn't like it. I didn't like what I saw. I've seen part of it then.
Oh, okay.
And on Chesil Beach, this is another one of those that's getting critical notice already because it played it. I think it was Toronto. It may have been Venice. Ian McEwan, I'll get it right, was the writer. Dominic Cook, the director, with Saoirse Ronan, Billy Howley, Emily Watson, Anna Marie Duff, Samuel West, and Adrian Scarborough. It's a drama and it's supposed to be gut-wrenchingly good and tear-jerking and all that stuff. But it's gotten raves.
There is also a film coming out on the 15th from Entertainment Studios. They haven't announced the title yet. Fine, be mysterious, see if we care.
They've reserved the date for future use.
Get bent, movie. On June 21st, Paved New World is coming out from Walt Disney Pictures. I have no idea what this is about.
I don't either.
And so there's that.
It's a comedy.
Yeah, and that's it. And if you go to the Wikipedia for it, it takes you to somebody named Tilky Jones, who was in the movie, and that's all it does. So again, get bent movie.
On June 22nd, the sequel to the second largest grossing film in all of Hollywood opening weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Yep.
Pass. I like Jurassic World, but I've never been a huge fan. And the two people that were the reason for me going to see Jurassic World in the first place are not in this film. Nick Robinson and Ty Simpkins are not anywhere to be found. So, all right, bye.
Yes, and Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard are in the film, so he's really not interested. The closing out June, we have Sicario 2 Soldado, which is a follow-up to Sicario, a very tense film, starring Benicio del Toro, Josh Brolin, Catherine Keener, Jeffrey Donovan, Manuel Garcia Ruffalo, and Isabella Moner.
The musical remake of Valley Girl.
Did we ask for this? I'm sorry.
With Jessica Roth, Josh Whitehouse, Chloe Bennett. Oh, Chloe Bennett's in it. I didn't know that. Ashley Murray, Jesse Ennis, Mae Whitman, and Logan Paul, who was in a ton of trouble from his little stunt on YouTube a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. As well he should be, because that was a completely
I didn't know Chloe Bennett was in
thing to
this,
do.
so that's enough to get me to go.
Also coming out on the 29th is Uncle Drew, which is a
sports comedy with Shaquille O'Neal. That's all you need to know. And I Feel Pretty with Amy Schumer, Michelle Williams, Emily Ratajkowski, and Rory Scovel.
Yeah.
It's a comedy.
This sounds really kind of, I'm not sure about it, but it's the story of a woman named Renee who struggles with feelings of insecurity and inadequacy, but wakes up from a fall believing she is the most beautiful and capable woman in the world. So she starts living her life as this powerful, strong, attractive woman. And on one hand, you're like, yay! On the other hand, you're like, what?
Okay.
I'm like, I can't tell if this movie is reveling head injuries or what. I don't know. So that's June.
The second half of the year kicks off on July 4th, Independence Day, with the ultra-patriotic The Purge, The Island.
Yeah.
Do we need one? Isn't that turning this into a TV show, too?
I don't know.
Do we need another Purge movie?
No, we don't.
Anyway, on the 6th, Ant-Man and the Wasp, the first installment in Group 4, right?
Yes, I think so.
Of the Marvel Universe, starring Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, and everybody else from the first film.
I want to bring up somebody really quickly who was in the film, who was awesome, who was in the first film.
David Chalamet.
Yes, David, who is awesome.
Malshalian, however you pronounce
David,
it.
who has appeared on Sven Gulli and is just...
David, who talks to you on Twitter. That's basically what you want to say.
No, I just think he's... No, David's one of... No, that's not why. The reason
I'm just kidding. Don't get all whiny.
No, the reason I'm bringing him up is because David's one of those unappreciated, hey, it's that guy type actors. You see him in everything, but he never gets the respect that he deserves. And I want to bring him up simply because, as I mentioned to him on Twitter, he is the master of the bat beep crazy eyes, as he proved in an episode of MacGyver.
All right, yay. July 13th brings 3 films. The Nun.
Yep.
Horror film.
Yes, The Nun is part of the Conjuring universe. There's the ghost of a nun in that, and that's what this is like.
Taissa Farmiga, Damian Bashir, Charlie Hope, and Bonnie Aarons.
Yeah, it's another
Hotel
movie.
Transylvania 3, Summer Vacation.
Yep.
Sequel to the Adam Sandler animated franchise there.
Mm-hmm.
Those have gotten good notices. And Skyscraper.
Yep.
Which is basically Die Hard on steroids, right?
Yep. I
With
guess,
Dwayne Johnson
kind
as
of.
a security consultant.
Yeah, he is a former FBI hostage rescue team leader.
Hint, plot hint.
Yeah. Well, it's a disaster movie, sort of, I think.
I think it's more a Die Hard clone. That's not a disaster
maybe.
movie.
I don't know. Speaking of disasters, on July 20th, hey-o! Now, I shouldn't say that because I don't want any movie to fail. I like to think...
I don't want this to fail either, but I got a feeling from the trailer it's going to.
Oh, I had such a bad feeling about this. Which this are we talking about?
Mamma Mia.
Oh, I was talking about the other one.
What other one?
Alita Battle Angel.
Oh, okay.
Alita,
yeah, that's the live action version, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
Alita Battle Angel, which is based on Yukito Kishiro's Battle Angel Alita manga. Oh boy.
Well, I'll tell you, this has got some good things going for it in the fact that Robert Rodriguez is the director. It has Christoph Waltz, Ed Skrein, Mahershala Ali, and Jackie Earle Haley in the cast. There's 4 really dependable people. So this might not be as bad as everybody thinks.
I guess.
And James Cameron wrote the screenplay. So
fine. I don't know. When I saw it, we saw the trailer for this, and I was just sitting there going, "Oh, I can hear people yelling already." But let's get to your. I got a bad feeling about this.
Mamma Mia, Here I Go Again opens that same day. Now, the first film was fun. Everybody loves the play, the musical play that it's based on. But the premise of this movie is Meryl Streep's character Donna has suddenly passed away. No. That is the premise of this film.
Okay, all right.
She has suddenly passed away, and her daughter is pregnant, and so she, invites her mom's best friends to come over and help her try to get this through. And of course, she's being helped along by her boyfriend, who is still not married to her, played by Dominic Cooper, and a new man in her life, played by Jeremy Irvine. All 3 of her potential fathers show up. Meryl's in the film, just so you know. And I don't know. And Cher.
And also Cher,
as
plays
Meryl Streep's mother.
Yes, so that means that she's Sophie's
They're the same
grandmother.
age. That's this is like the Ava Gardner, Lauren Green thing from Earthquake.
I mean, I want to see
serious?
it. I want to see it simply because I loved the first movie and I love ABBA songs, and I know every heavy metal fan out there now wants to kick my ass. I don't care. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, why? Did we really need this? I don't get it. Also coming out on the 20th.
And could we please make sure the singing for Pierce Brosnan is kept to a minimum, please?
Also on the 20th is Gauguin Voyage de Tahiti. I'm assuming this is going to be probably limited release.
Yeah, and it's a French film with Vincent Cassel, however you pronounce his name, as Gauguin. Gotten good word of mouth at some of the film festivals. Mm-hmm. So, on the 27th, okay. July 27th brings us 2 movies I'm really not interested in the least. Mission Impossible 6 with Tom Cruise, Simon Pegg, Henry Cavill, and the mustache that he had to have removed for Batman vs. Superman reshirts digitally, and a few other people. And Teen Titans Go to the movies with Scott Fenville, Tara Strong, Greg Sipes, Hendon Watch, Kari Payton, Will Arnett, and Kristen Bell voices. And since I can't stand the cartoon show, I'm not interested in the film either.
No, I know.
Okay. August
begins, movie-wise, begins on August 3rd. Beginning with Christopher Robin, which I have to be honest, I am really interested in. Christopher Robin tells the story of Christopher Robin, the young boy that was in the Winnie the Pooh stories. Now, the thing is...
Now, this is not the same film that came out last year.
No, that was called Goodbye, Christopher Robin,
right.
And that was a biography of A.A. Milne, the person that wrote the books.
Right.
In this story, Christopher is all grown up and has lost that sense of imagination and wonder and beauty that you wish you never lost that you had when you were a child.
Great, so it's Hook, Winnie the Pooh style.
Well, the thing is, Winnie the Pooh and all his friends come back into Christopher's life to help him recapture that. The cast includes Ewan McGregor as Christopher Robin, Haley Atwell as Evelyn, his wife, Mark Gatiss as Giles, his boss, and the voice cast includes Jim Cummings as Winnie the Pooh. So,
Yay!
Nick Mohammed as Piglet, Brad Garrett as Eeyore, which is the best casting in the history of ever. Kristen Anderson Lopez as Kanga, and Wyatt Hall as Rue.
This was written by Tom McCarthy and Alex Ross Perry and Allison Schroeder. I don't know her. Tom McCarthy is brilliant. He wrote and directed Spotlight. He wrote and directed Win-Win. I'm like, okay, this should be interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay.
The Equalizer 2 also comes out on August 3rd because it's... I don't know why. I honestly don't, because I don't,
Denzel Washington reprising his role
Yeah.
in that. The Predator, the latest attempt to reboot the Predator series, with Boyd Holbrook, Olivia Munn, Trevante Rhodes, Keegan-Michael Key, Sterling K. Brown, Jacob Tremblay. Jacob Tremblay is in this?
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Jane, Alfie Allen, and Yvonne Stravovsky. The Spy Who Dumped Me. Comedy with Mila Kunis. And that's all she wrote for the third.
Yep.
See what we mean about there's a lot of crap coming out
Moving
this year.
forward, the 8th of August brings us Barbie. Ta-da! Because we needed a live-action Barbie movie starring Anne Hathaway for some reason that nobody can explain to me. Oh my God, somebody hold me, I'm scared. But for those of you who are like, oh my God, somebody hold me, I'm scared, let's move on to August 10th, which brings us The Meg. The Meg is a science fiction horror film about a group of naval-type folks, including a former naval captain and a diver named Jonas Taylor, who are recruited to rescue some scientists who are under attack from I'm going to mess this up, a Carcharodon megalodon. Now, for those of you...
Of course he did.
For those of you who what the hell did she just say? A megalodon, or a meg, is and as far as we know, extinct species of shark that is apparently not as extinct as other people thought it was, because nobody told the shark in this movie. The thing is, these sharks are big. Like 70 feet long.
Yeah.
Big. So, it's basically Jaws on super soldier serum. Pretty much.
With Jason Statham, Jessica McNamee, Lee Bingbing, Ruby Rose, Rainn Wilson, Cliff Curtis, and Robert Taylor.
So we know at least one person who'll be going to this movie. Hi, Mrs. Rob. Also on August 10th, we get Scarface, because why? I don't... Did we need another version of this?
This is a new version. It's neither a sequel or a remake. Takes elements from both the original films.
And it's
from the Coen brothers.
Yeah, it's from the Coen brothers. So in other words, duck.
Diego Luna is the star of that. Nasty Women with Anne Hathaway, Rebel Wilson, and Alex Sharp. The Nightingale with Aisling Franciosi and Sam Claflin. And My Son, French film from a Coen Media Group starring Guillaume Canet and Melanie Laurent, winds up on the 10th.
Yep. August 17th brings us Crazy Rich Asians. Oh my frog, how did they get that title out there?
Again, Awkwafina is one of the stars of this.
Oh my gosh.
It's based on the novel.
I know it is, but how is that not, if not racist, at least more than a little bit rude?
Well, it's, I'm just saying it's based on the novel, so the novel's title was obviously that.
I know.
So
there's that.
White Boy Rick, I've actually read some stuff about. This is getting really good word of mouth. And I'm interested in seeing it because of the cast. Richie Merritt is supposed to be one of the next big stars, and we'll see what happens. Matthew McConaughey plays his father, a blue-collar factory worker trying to keep his family together as the automotive industry collapses around him. And, of course, he doesn't know his son is aspiring to be one of the biggest drug dealers in Detroit. Also starring Bel Powley, Bruce Dern, Piper Laurie, Roy Cochran, Jennifer Jason Leigh, R.J. Seiler, Brian Tyree Henry, and a number of other people. It has gotten good word of mouth, and I'm interested to see what happened. It got a huge audience test score in the 90s, which is unheard of. So we'll have to wait and see, but it's got cred.
August 17th also brings Captive State to the big screen. Captive State starring John Goodman, Ashton Sanders, Jonathan Majors, Vera Farmiga, and Colson Baker. Tells the story of an America that has been occupied for over a decade, or almost a decade, by an extraterrestrial force, and
Another
looking
dystopian future.
and looking at the lives of people in a Chicago neighborhood that are helping the aliens and people who are fighting them. And I'm sorry,
It's V the movie.
No, it's not V the movie. It's Colony the movie.
Okay,
I was going to say, didn't we just do this on USA and called it Colony?
3 Seconds from Avrion Pictures is a smaller film with Ana de Armas, Rosamund Pike, Clive Owen, Joel Kinnaman, and Common that is getting some buzz. We'll have to wait to see what really happens there. But the movie that is, I think, most intriguing over everything this year, would you agree with this?
Yeah, I would.
Is Brian Henson's latest film, The Happy Time Murders. Can you tell us about this?
The Happy Time Murders is the story of an alternate universe where puppets...
It's Greg the Bunny universe.
Yeah, it's basically Greg the Bunny, the big screen version. It's an alternate Earth where puppets...
Although Greg the Bunny was never a Disney property, so we just want to get that clear.
Puppets coexist with humans, but they're treated as second-class citizens. The Happy Time Murders tells the story of a puppet private eye and former cop named Phil Phillips, who is on the trail of a serial killer who murdered his brother and is now targeting the cast of a 80s TV show that was called The Happy Time Gang. And it goes from there.
It sounds really, really original and fun.
Yeah.
Melissa McCarthy, Bill Beretta, Maya Rudolph, Joel McHale, Elizabeth Banks, directed by Brian Henson, and I am really can't wait to see this. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, it does look like it's going to be. It sounds really interesting. We were both huge fans of Greg the Bunny, which was way too hip for the room.
It was both the Fox version and the IFC version, and it was interesting. Cadaver, another horror film, on August 24th and August 31st. 2 smaller films. Ken, directed by Jonathan Baker and Josh Baker, and starring James Franco, Jack Rayner, Zoe Kravitz, and Dennis Quaid. It's a sci-fi action thriller. And The Little Stranger, with Domhnall Gleeson, Ruth Wilson, Will Poulter, Charlotte Rampling, and Allison Parjete.
I want to see that.
August.
I want to see that.
And then we are into September.
September brings us... on September 7th, it brings us another horror film from New Line that they haven't decided to give us the title yet.
Right.
So that moves us into the...
I have a feeling that's going to be the Halloween remake, but we'll see.
That brings us to the 14th of September, which includes the...
that's actually scheduled for October. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. The Darkest Minds on September 14th, which is a science fiction film. Starring Amanda Stenberg, Amandla Stenberg, Harris Dickinson, Mandy Moore, Patrick Gibson. Sounds interesting. We've seen the trailer for this several times. On September 14th, Alpha is supposed to be coming out.
Alpha has my interest, but I'm worried that it's going to cause a backlash because of its subject matter, although you keep pointing out that we don't know where it's set or who it's supposed to be. But it's obviously set in prehistoric times.
Well, we know it's set in Europe, at least according to the Wikipedia.
Okay.
It's set in Europe during the Upper Paleolithic period.
Right.
So that was a long
So it's like
time ago.
It's like 10,000 BC with Cody Smith-McPhee, Leonardo Varela, and Jens Houton.
I think it looks interesting.
I think it looks awesome, actually.
It's basically the story of how we brought wolves into our homes and how wolves eventually became dogs. You know, and I just think that's a really interesting topic.
And Fighting with My Family, biopic based on what wrestler?
Fighting with My Family is based on the WWE wrestler Paige. It's based on her family, the Bevis family, which everyone in her family are professional wrestlers, which, you know, she's grown up in the business, which I think is really interesting. Florence Pugh is playing Soraya Bevins, who goes by the ring name of Paige.
You do realize who that is?
Paige, yeah.
No, Florence Pugh. She was the star of Lady Macbeth.
Yeah.
That's weird casting. Okay.
I don't think it's weird casting.
All right, yeah, I do.
I mean, she doesn't exactly look like Paige, but I've only seen...
she's several years older than Paige.
Well, no. And I've never seen... I mean, Paige looks like she's been dunked in whiteout, no offense, but, well, that's part of her gimmick, and that's the way, and... whatever.
Yeah. Also starring Lena Headey, Nick Frost, Jack Lowden, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as himself, and Jake the Snake Roberts, played by Vince Vaughn. That's interesting.
I'm sorry. That's the dog hearing a strange noise headcock thing. I'm sorry. I'm not getting that.
It
at
is
all.
being distributed by Film 4 in association with WWE Studios, so it probably won't get a wide release. But you can look
September
for it.
20th brings Johnny English 3.
Why?
Because apparently they made money somewhere.
I love Rowan Atkinson, but those movies are ridiculously bad. I'm sorry. I'm like, okay. September 21st brings Robin Hood, the latest version of the character. And what is this, like the 24th version in the last 10 years?
Well, maybe
Taron Egerton in the title role
get it right this time.
Taron Egerton in the title role with Jamie Foxx, Eve Hewson, Jamie Dornan, and Ben Mendelsohn, who's always great. Ben Mendelsohn is awesome.
Oh, Ben Mendelsohn's playing the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yeah.
El Surprise.
Yeah, Tim Minchin and Paul Anderson. I love Taron Egerton. He's one of my favorite rising stars.
And he has an English accent. We're looking at you, Kevin Costner.
We'll see. But I mean, it sounds great. And the House with a Clock in Its Walls, a horror fantasy from Eli Roth, written by Eric Kripke, which I know you would probably enjoy.
Yes.
With Jack Black, Cate Blanchett, Kyle MacLachlan, Owen Vaccaro, and Colleen Camp.
Yep. September 28th brings 4 films. Night School, which is a comedy about people going to night school. It stars Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, Rob Riggle. It's probably going to do well, I think.
Yeah.
Smallfoot.
I want to like this. I want to.
You do?
So bad. Yes. Because the trailer is really, really cute. But it's Channing Tatum and James Corden, and I can't get past the first 2 names in the cast. Plus Zendaya, Common, LeBron James, Gina Rodriguez, Danny DeVito, Yara Shahidi, Eli Henry, and Jimmy Tatro.
Yeah.
I think the trailer looks funny and it's cute. But, Channing Tatum and James Corden. Okay, well, we'll see.
The Boy Who Would Be King also comes out on that day. The Boy Who Would Be King is the story of a young boy named Alex who winds up finding the sword Excalibur, because that gets, because that lies around and people just find it.
And then finally, the drama Boy Erased, which is based on the book of the same name, written and directed. Was it directed by Joel Edgerton? Yeah. Written and directed by Joel Edgerton and starring Edgerton as the is he the preacher? He's the therapist at a conversion camp for gay kids. Lucas Hedges is the gay son of a Baptist pastor. His parents are Nicole Kidman and Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
I
want to see this movie.
I do too, but we're both going to be so damn angry.
Yeah.
I will go see this for one major reason, because in addition to all these people being in here, it also has a co-starring role for Xavier Dolan, who I am a huge fan of.
Yeah. I do intend to see it, even though I know it's probably going to make me so angry I'll get violently ill.
All right. We only have a few minutes. We want to run through the rest of them for the rest of the year, so let's just try to get through these, because I got a few other titles that aren't on this list that I want to bring up too.
October
Star is Born.
5th brings us A Star is Born, Bad Times at the El Royale, and we'll see how well Tom Hardy looks good in black in Venom on the 5th.
I think all of those are going to be possible hits. We'll have to wait and see. On the 13th of October, First Man, which is the big documentary Oscar fodder story about Neil Armstrong with Ryan Gosling. Hellfest, horror film. Goosebumps Horrorland, which is a horror comedy, again with Jack Black, if I'm not mistaken. on the following week.
The 19th brings us Halloween again.
This is the new version with Jamie Lee Curtis reprising the role she played in the original film, Laurie Strode.
Don't know why we need this. The 19th also brings us the Andy Serkis directed Mowgli. His take on the Jungle Book, which has an amazing cast, including Christian Bale, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Cate Blanchett.
Yep.
The Girl in the Spider's Web, without Rooney Mara or Daniel Craig.
Yeah, with Claire Foy this time, and Xavier Gudnason.
Fox Searchlight Pictures brings us Can You Ever Forgive Me on the 19th, which includes in its cast Melissa McCarthy, Richard E. Grant, Jane Curtin, and Anna Devere Smith. The 26th brings us Overlord, which I don't know anything about.
Yeah, it's an action thriller. And the 31st, Jal and the Slayer and His Followers, which is a Pakistani film that has gotten some buzz already, animated, and it's supposed to be really something.
Yep.
On November 2nd, X-Men Dark Phoenix, the latest in the saga of the X-Men, with the most recent cast in place. That's James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, who said she wasn't going to do anymore, Nicholas Hoult, Alexandra Shipp, Sophie Turner, Ty Sheridan, Cody Smith-McPhee, Evan Peters, and newcomer Jessica Chastain.
Mm-hmm.
The Nutcracker in the Four Realms, you were really interested in.
The Nutcracker in the Four Realms, starring Mackenzie Foy, Keira Knightley, Miranda Hart, Morgan Freeman, and Helen Mirren, looks really fascinating, kind of disturbing, and very visually beautiful. Also on November 2nd, we get the biopic Mary, Queen of Scots, starring Saoirse Ronan.
Cersei. Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan, I'm sorry. Margot Robbie, Jack Lowden, Martin Compton, David Tennant, yay, and Guy Pearce. And a Paramount film whose title hasn't been announced
They got
yet.
that spot reserved. On the 9th, Holmes and Watson, the latest team-up of Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. Oh, God. And The Grinch, the new animated version of the classic kids special, with Benedict Cumberbatch as the voice of the Grinch.
Yep.
On the 15th, Conundrum, Secrets Among Friends. This is a sequel to the previous thriller. And on the 16th, Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, the latest in the 4-movie saga, I think they said this was going to be, of Newt Scamander.
Yay!
From the Harry Potter universe. Once again, Eddie Redmayne, Catherine Waterston, Alison Sudo, Dan Fogler, Ezra Miller, Johnny Depp, all back, along with Jude Law, Zoe Kravitz, and a bunch of other people. Widows, also out on the 16th of November. Steve McQueen's latest directorial debut effort with Viola Davis. And Creed 2, on the 21st, Creed 2, the sequel, written by Sylvester Stallone and Chowd Hardari Coker, with Michael B. Jordan back as Apollo Creed's son. Ralph Breaks the Internet, the sequel to Wreck-It Ralph, repeating John C. Reilly, Sarah Silverman, Jack McBrayer, Jane Lynch, Taraji P. Henderson, all back. And this one has me completely freaked out. I don't know how they're going to do this. The Women of Marwen. This is a very, Universal's behind this, so it may actually get a wide release. Directed and written by Robert Zemeckis, Steve Carell, Leslie Mann, Diane Kruger, Falk Henschel, Janae Monáe, Isa Gonzalez, and Gwendolyn Christie. This is a fantasy film about characters created by the gentleman who put together the city Marwencol in the documentary of the same name. He's a veteran with PTSD, and he lives his life in this fantasy world. And now Universal has made a film about the characters of the dolls that he's made to go into this little world.
Yep.
I'm like, oh my God, really? Okay.
All right. That brings us to December. And December kicks off with December 14th with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Everybody's waiting for this, with Shameik Moore as Miles Morales, the newest Spider-Man. Liev Schreiber, Mahershala Ali, and Brian Tyree Henry. This is an animated film from Marvel Animation.
I have seen the trailer for this. Holy crap.
It looks really good. Yeah. I think it's going to be fun. And Mortal Engines from writers Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, and Philippa Boyens. directed by his number one cinematographer, Christian Rivers, with Robert Sheehan, Hilaire Halmar, Jai Hay, Leah George, Ronan Rafferty, and Hugo Weaving, who's in practically everything he does.
Based on the novel by Philip Reeve, this is another dystopian future film, and have at it.
Bumped back a month to December 21st, Aquaman. Yay.
I might be going to this one by myself.
I'll be going, but I bet Anthony won't be. Jason Momoa as Aquaman. That's all you need to know. And Bumblebee, the movie, the prequel to the Transformers films with John Cena.
Yes. Also on the 25th of...
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, 2018, we get Mary Poppins Returns, with the return of the eponymous and magical nanny, with Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins, Hamilton writer and star Lin-Manuel Miranda as Jack, Ben Whishaw, Emily Mortimer, Pixie Davis, Meryl Streep, Colin Firth, Dick Van Dyke, Angela Lansbury, David Warner, Jeremy Swift, and Julie Walters. And finally,
Lin-Manuel Miranda, just for the record, is playing the son of Bert.
Right.
From the original film.
Right.
So, should be fun. And finally, I'm really worried about this because of what happened near the end of filming. Bohemian Rhapsody, the life story of Freddie Mercury, with Rami Malek playing Mercury, with Willem Lee, Ben Hardy, Joseph Mazzello, Alan Leach, and Lucy Boynton. Directed really by Bryan Singer, but actually is being credited to Dexter Fletcher because Singer was fired by Fox with a week left to film. So I don't know. I'm hoping because I want Freddie to be given the right treatment in film.
Me too.
You know. So what are you guys thinking of this year? It's going to be a crazy year. I have a few films on my list that that are not on the release list yet that I want you to keep an eye out for. And these are something that I've talked with you already. In no particular order. There's Avenues. Avenues had its premiere at the Montclair Film Festival last year. It is the directorial debut for our old buddy Michael Angarano. He wrote and directed this and stars in it along with his good friend from Sky High and Red State, Nicholas Braun. And I'm really looking forward to this. It got really good reviews at the Montclair Film Festival, and I don't know why there has been no distribution deal yet. But damn it, I'll be there because it's Michael. Another personal favorite, and I know I'm gonna mangle this. La O On Va, or On Va. I can't even guarantee. I tried to check with the producers, and I haven't gotten back to me yet. La O On Va is a drama comedy about a 20-year-old who has suffered from what we call cystic fibrosis here in America. In Europe, it's called mucoviscosis. It's a lung disease that you have when you're a child. And after a planned lung transplant falls through, his older sister comes to keep her promise to take him on a road trip for his 20th birthday. And she and her girlfriend, lover, and he set off for Thailand from Paris. This is the latest star vehicle for our 2016 rising star, Théophile Bacquet. He was best known for Microbe and Gasoline right now. And if you're in France, he's known for the show Las Grandes also. But I've seen a couple of little tiny clips from this, and I'm wondering if it's going to finally rocket him into major stardom. But we have no confirmation of a U.S. release yet. So
Yep.
I don't know if you're interested or not. Land of Steady Habits, another film that's been talked about, stars Ben Mendelsohn, who, now that he's put his son through college, decides to make changes in his life. Ben plays, for the first time I've ever seen him, plays a good guy in this film. He's a lead. It's a comedy drama with Thomas Mann as his grown son, and should be a lot of fun.
Well, the thing you have to remember about Ben is that in his native Australia, he was a comedic actor.
Well, just like Jackie was known for comedy, too, before Animal Kingdom.
And Eric Bana as well.
I mean, Ben Well, I'd never really heard of Ben before we saw Animal Kingdom. And that man freaked me out.
Oh, yeah.
And ever since then, he's been playing bad guys. And he's a really
he's
wonderful
so good at
actor.
it.
Yeah, he is good at it. Wildlife has made a couple of appearances at film festivals. It is written and directed by Paul Dano, his first directorial effort. He and his partner, Zoe Kazan, wrote the film. And I think it sounds really interesting. And now, of course, by this time, Dark Phoenix is on the list. It had not yet been put on the list. But I'm really anxious to hear about whether or not we're going to get to see Theo's new movie, because I loved him in Microbe and Gasoline. He was number 3 on our Rising Stars list last year, 2016, and really has the potential to become a major star around the world if they can get him into a more available film. It doesn't have to be an English film. Microbe and Gasoline got such a low release here, even though it was a big hit in Europe, and it was from Michel Gondry. It only got like a minor release here in America, and it deserved better. And La Haute which actually I guess also can be referred to as LOOV as the abbreviation. I hope we'll get a U.S. release, because he has the central star here. He isn't sharing it with Ange D'Argent, who we shared Microbe and Gasoline with, and I hope that I think he could be as big a star as Romain Duras is becoming now in English language films as well as French. Romain has done a lot of stuff like Populaire and Mood Indigo. Now is playing the bad guy in All the Money in the World, so it should be interesting. Anything that wasn't on the list that you can think of?
No, not really. Everything that was on my that I'm interested in was on the list. So
now, before we go, let me remind you, this is not covering the festivals. There are going to be tons more of films added to the release list as the festivals come about. There are a lot of great films premiering at both Sundance and Slamdance this year, and I hope that they will do well. And of course, there's also Palm Springs, Santa Barbara. We'll cover that whole first circuit of it at the end of this month with our annual Festival of Film Festivals. Also, don't forget, we have a bunch of other programs. My other show, Catastrophe Vortex, returns back on Monday, January 8th. New format and slightly shorter, and we hope that you will be enjoying that as well. Kim's show, Platinum Rose's Garden, on weeknights, Sundays usually.
I will be back the week after next, because Supernatural will be returning, and I will be back looking at the episode Wayward Sisters, and I hope you will come check that out.
I really think we should move it back to Saturdays too, because it'd just be easier to produce. But that's up to you. You're also going to be hosting another new show.
I am.
Premiering this Wednesday.
Yes.
It's called Ring Around the Rosie. What are you doing?
Ring Around the Rosie is my wrestling podcast.
It's our newest podcast.
Yes, it's our newest podcast. It's my wrestling podcast. It's my look at being a wrestling fan for 30 plus years, and I've seen some stuff.
She's classic.
I've seen some stuff. I was there, at the beginning of the Rock and Wrestling Connection, all the way through the Attitude era. I've walked away a few times, but come back, and it's just going to be my look at memories and things that I remember at events I was at, including one that is pretty infamous among wrestling fans.
That's not counted the first week, though, is it?
No. And lists.
Because I'll get stuck editing it.
Yeah, and lists every other week or so, and hopefully some mail from you guys.
Yep.
And whatever else I can think of to do on the show that week.
And you can check out more information on its premiere and its website when it launches this Wednesday, and we'll have more info on eCinemaOne with it when it premieres. Also, don't forget our two mini shows: 3-Minute Weekend on Friday, covering all the new film releases in theaters, and Tuesday Digidex every Tuesday, covering home video releases. And our other spin-off shows, Cavebabble, not really a spin-off, our other sister shows, Cavebabble with Eric and Valerie Lyon, movies, games, music, things to eat, and much more travelogue shows and stuff at cavebabble.com. And Comic Grotto with Aunt B and Pee-wee every week, all about comics and their effects in books, on TV, and the movies. It's at comicgrotto.com, and they have quite a bit of a growing fandom over there, too.
Yeah.
Now, before we go, we want to also remind you, if you listen to the show, spread the word, share our show, like our show on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you listen to it. Don't forget to hit the notification button if you're listening on a site that allows you to do that, like YouTube. And don't forget to check out all our sites and let us know what's going on. Don't forget to write us at subjectcinema@PNRNetworks.com. Let us know what you think of the show. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget, if you're traveling, the easiest way to listen is through the Subject Cinema app. You can download it, and it covers Subject Cinema, Front Row 5 and 10, which also returns this weekend. And our 2 mini shows every week, and right in your app. Download the app. You have all kinds of access to everything we do, and we hope you'll enjoy that. And as I said, Front Row 5 and 10 is back on Thursday with our top 10 movie musicals.
Yep.
Now, upcoming, we have a few schedule changes from what we announced on the last show before last. But we will still have our film festivals at the end of the month. Our 600 shows coming up in February. And we have something very special about to premiere. It is something that we have never done before, and it is something that I am increasingly jazzed about. I am not going to tell you exactly what it is yet. It is an original dramatic audio production, and it is coming up later this month. The trailer, which was supposed to be up on the 9th, will be up next Sunday, which is... what date is that? Day and date, that would be Sunday, January 14th. And we hope that you will come up and check it. This is an original dramatic production that will be available only on YouTube, because it is video as well as audio. And we hope that you will check it out. And it is going to be... this is a labor of love, not just for us, but for the entire PNR Networks family. And we hope you will listen and enjoy it. We'll have a very special link in its own little website coming up later on next weekend when the trailer debuts. And I hope that you will like the show. I mean, it's really shaping up to be something special. And I hope that you will enjoy it. If you're a fan of what it's based on, you will hopefully love it. We'll be back in a week. We'll be back on Thursday with Front Row 5 and 10, but we'll be back in a week with another Subject Cinema. And don't forget, we're only a month and a half away, 2 months away, from our next masochistic March.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing all Star Wars ripoffs this year. We decided, since Solo is coming out in April, anyone can link us with the Turkish Star Wars. Send me a link at subjectcinema@pnrnetworks.com, because Kim really wants to see this. I have no desire to see it. And we should do the Star Wars Holiday Special. And on that note, there'll be lots more coming. Stick around and watch our sites, too. For Subject Cinema, I'm T.C. Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
May your popcorn always be buttered.
And may your roses always be in bloom.
TTFN.
Bye now and happy 2018. Go to the movies.
You have been listening to Subject Cinema with hosts T.C. Kirkham and Kim Brown. Subject Cinema is produced by PNR Networks, Boston, Massachusetts, which is solely responsible for its content. Subject Cinema theme performed by Eric Lyon. Subject Cinema is recorded and produced using Sony Vegas products. Subject Cinema is copyright 2017 by PNR Networks under a Creative Commons license. Check out a new episode of Subject Cinema every weekend. Until next time, this is Bob Taylor for Subject Cinema, and we'll see you at the movies.
That's all.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.